empathetic man that is always ready to help. Ahmad is one of our esteemed WIA Global Ambassadors and helping us provide upskilling and mentorship to benefit as many people as possible. And let's give a warm welcome to Ahmad Iman, TV's host and coach of 1 million people on LinkedIn, helping to spread his positive values and fulfill the potential of entrepreneurs and professionals from all over the world. Welcome, Ahmad.
Thank you, Angela. I appreciate that. And I tell you what, Martina's intro was incredible. 9 languages I can't compete with. I can speak 2 languages fluently. I can speak English and I speak really good sarcasm as well. I can actually write and read sarcasm perfectly, but I can't compete with that. Can we please say a big thank you to both Angela and Carlos for not only doing such an incredible job hosting this event, but also bringing all these incredible minds together into this one virtual room so that we can talk about how we can do our part to make this world a better place. So can we please in the chat just write a thank you, Carlos and Angela in the chat. I'd love to see a few thank yous. So much went into this event and many of us appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Ahmad, for coming.
Thank you so much, Ahmad. You're amazing, man. No, thank to all of you. I know that you guys are all so busy, and thank you so much for coming here today, Ahmad. We are so proud to be your friends and work with you and have you as our global ambassador. It is absolutely amazing, and thank you all so much for being here. So we leave you because you're going to talk about the influence for good, right?
Yes. So, I mean, when I first met Carlos over a Zoom call, and he told me about this audacious vision for WIA, and I heard the passion and conviction in his voice that you can hear today. I knew then and there that this was something that I wanted to be a part of. So as mentioned, my name is Ahmad Iman. I'm very proud to be the global ambassador for WIA, and I specialize in social media, in influence, and I help experts spread their message worldwide for the purpose of social good. So I believe the way forward to making a social impact is through your brand and through your influence. And I know Martina mentioned this a little bit earlier by focusing on influencers and how much they can spread the word. Now, when we talk about brands, we can talk about a number of famous and influential brands, but what do they all have in common? They may all be different and they may all share a few things, but think about people like Tony Robbins, about Oprah, about Gary Vaynerchuk or Sarah Blakely or Sir Richard Branson. What do they all have in common? If you think about it, they all have a strong brand. They all have a niche topic. They all have built influence. They all have a strong social media presence, which was built over a number of years. They all have a unique message, just like each and every one of us. And they all have a specific tribe, and they help that tribe with a specific problem, which is exactly what we are all trying to do. Now, building all this was no accident. They have all had, at some point, consulted with experts who have helped them structure a unique brand and helped to differentiate them from everyone else. But over the last decade, we've seen a huge shift, a huge industry shift in leadership. And there is no doubt that it has become somewhat saturated, and especially if you go on social media, it appears that every single person is a leader these days and giving leadership advice. But how many can say they have actually built a global brand and influence? And I say this because in order to make a social impact, it is no longer just enough to be an expert. I wish it was. And it's no longer enough to just have a small community where you can share that expertise. To make a serious impact, we need to have expertise, a practical vision, and a strong foundation of influence and brand. And to really stand out and be heard in this era, and I know this world of social media can be very overwhelming, you actually need to be both an influencer and a thought leader in order to make a social impact. Now, if you're thinking, okay, wait a second, aren't they the same thing? They're not. Influence and thought leadership is actually very different. So an influencer, for example, has a career that focuses on producing content, and that content might be monetized through perhaps honest reviews and telling brand stories. Their job requirements might be creating content, presenting, branding, social media management, networking, marketing, whatever it might be. They're talents that most people fail to give influencers enough credit for, are actually having the X factor. Content production, presenting, and trend spotting. So there's a lot that can be outsourced as an influencer, but in my experience, what will make you or break you is that X factor. Now, a thought leader, on the other hand, is someone who focuses on becoming the go-to expert in their field, right? Their strategy is based on expertise and knowledge and credibility, rather than perhaps maybe just gaining followers and likes and a bit of a dopamine hit on social media. The talents that most people ignore in becoming a thought leader are credibility, leadership, critical thinking, and having a very strong vision. However, in this current landscape, to make an impact, like I said, you need to be both an influencer and a thought leader. Hence, we have influencers becoming thought leaders like Jay Shetty, right? And on the other hand, we have thought leaders that are becoming influencers like Marissa Peer, for example. And that's what it takes. Now, I know this all sounds overwhelming, but if you are here and you are taking part of this event, then firstly, we know that you have the ability to take action, but most importantly, you are here because you want to understand how you as an individual can spread your message of social good. That's what we're all trying to do. And we're all trying to do it right now in different ways, but there are better ways to do this. Now, I can talk about this for hours, and Carlos knows this, but I want to leave you with something to think about. So let me start with what is hopefully a very simple question for you. And I want you just to give this some thought. It can be a rhetorical question, but please give this some thought over the next couple of hours, maybe over the next few days. And the question is this: what is your brand? And are you able to articulate what your brand is? What does your brand actually stand for? What is your brand's message? What are you constantly communicating to people? What do you want to get out there? And how are you different from everyone else when you are communicating that message? Now, I know they're not easy questions. And if you asked me the same thing 5 years ago, believe me, I would have struggled to answer them because I simply didn't have that clarity. But I want you over the course of the day to give some thought to building your brand. And when I say build your brand, we are not going to build a character, right? I don't want you to build something that's not you. I simply want you to lean into your authenticity, amplify your strengths, amplify what it is that you're actually good at. Lean into who you truly are as a human being, what you stand for, and how you best serve other people. And in doing so, you're going to identify your brand voice and you're going to articulate your specific message. Because once you're able to articulate your brand and your message with absolute clarity, you will find a community of people that believe what you believe. And that is what we need to do. And that is how we are going to create a social impact on an absolute global scale. So I'm going to keep it at that. I can speak for hours, but I hope that was of value. And again, thank you so much, Carlos and Angela. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, Ahmad, for your words and your positivity.
And thank you so much for the distinction between thought leader and influencer. It's really important that everybody has their own brand, that everybody understands that even if you have the best solution or the best project, if you don't have the ability to communicate it, to share with others, to convince others, to bring people in, it is impossible. And so that is why this message was so important. We really appreciate it. It doesn't matter if you want to go in the path of being a thought expert, a leader very deep in whatever specialty, or you prefer to go in the other path. Both are really important. And the most important thing at the end of the day is that we are able to communicate so we can galvanize and also we can grow as well.
I couldn't agree more. Thank
you so much, Ahmad. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Give it up for Ahmad Iman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you so much.